put it together for Judith Orloff, MD, everyone. You're everything I need in one guest. You're a psychiatrist and MD. My God, can't we just move in together and you can try to solve my problems? Welcome.
You're welcome. I will.
Your book, which is coming out in October, I believe. I mean, it's not your first book. You're very well published. You have books called The Genius of Empathy, The Empath Survival Guide, and your book that comes out in October will have a link to pre-order is called The Highly Sensitive Rabbit. Again, relating to, I think, the sensitivities associated with empathy and with the showing our emotions. From what I've been able to understand, it's sort of in that space, right, Judith?
Mm-hmm. It's for children and it's for the sensitive person in each adult. Every highly sensitive rabbit all of us have inside of us.
And what is an empath?
An empath is somebody who is able to sense and know things beyond the linear mind. And I'm an empath. I've been an empath since I've been a little girl. And what that means is that I tend to be very intuitive and I love connecting to nature. I can read people intuitively, and I can just connect with life in a very deep way as opposed to just linear. However, the challenges of being an empath are that people who are empaths take on the energy and the stress of other people into our own bodies if we don't set adequate boundaries. And so it's so important to learn the skills that I talk about in all the books in order to do what I do, to practice it, because I love being in the world. I love treating patients. I love giving workshops. So I'm out with people and I don't want to absorb your pain. I don't want to absorb your stress. It's none of my business actually to do so. So my work as an empath is to keep a boundary that's healthy. That doesn't mean I can't love. That doesn't mean I don't care about you enormously. It just means that I don't take on your stuff. And so that's a challenge that empaths have to face.
So, I am, just to use my own situation as an example, I'm a very emotional person in that when you tell me a story about some challenge you have emotionally, some illness maybe in your family, some loss you've had, or then even when I contemplate things along those lines in my own family, but that always tends to touch us. I'm really talking about hearing others struggle, even reading about others struggle. I'm very moved by it, like moved to tears. I can be moved to tears even as I hear someone tell me a story of their family over like in a busy lunch counter. It's very intense, and I honestly don't like it. I mean, my mother is a little like this. I think I'm even worse than my mother. And, so I am extremely sensitive to the struggle of animals and of other creatures in our environment. I mention this because I'm trying to shake it, actually. I think it's only getting worse as I get older. I think as you get older, you're kind of you weep around, you tend to weep more. The whole world just brings you to tears more. And so I'm coming around to this, like, now, is that just a super emotional guy or is that empath? I'm trying to really draw the distinction.
If I was to start talking about one of my struggles, would you take it on yourself?
I don't know what take it on means, but I might react by choking up,
So you couldn't tell the difference between mine and yours, essentially. You would merge with me.
Right.
Okay. All right. That's an empath. As opposed to just being an emotional guy. I mean, I suspect you were a very empathic boy, and that you were very sensitive. And it's hard because when I wrote the highly sensitive rabbit, that rabbit was bullied and was, not appreciated and called overly sensitive and a crybaby and never felt like she belonged in the world. And of course, it's modeled after my own childhood. So I have a lot of empathy for you, but especially for boys. It's very hard to be a sensitive boy and not be mocked in our culture. And it's possible. And I believe that sensitive men are the new paradigm that we're searching for. That it's important to be sensitive. I mean, I don't know anyone who wants somebody who's just in their head, or some macho person who doesn't have a heart. I mean, I don't know anyone anymore who wants that.
Yeah, I mean, you say that, but the culture actually in society, I think, is more about the kind of muscular flex, almost literally muscular flex, associated with masculinity now. I mean, it's typified by uh, all the leadership that you find now and all the things that are rewarded, and the new spate of talk show hosts and podcasters and all the rest. So when you say, I don't know anyone who'd want that, I mean, I don't know. I think that may be the thing that's most rewarded and celebrated in our culture right now.
Okay, let me amend that and say I don't know anyone healthy who would want that.
Okay. Well, you're presiding over a sick nation, so I don't know. But it's interesting because to the degree to you can insulate yourself from feeling these things outwardly, I suspect it might be a benefit. Like that would be my goal. It's like it's great that you feel these things empathically, but you can't go through life choking up every time you hear a story that moves you, because clearly you're moved by a lot of stories, maybe way more than the average person.
Absolutely. You could be moved by something without becoming it, without becoming like you're living that story yourself. There's a boundary that you can set. You can set, just keep yourself a few feet away from the person and have some discernment in terms of not jumping into somebody's problems. When somebody comes to me as a psychiatrist and they sit across from me, the last thing I want to do is absorb their problems. And it's easier because it's not family. It's harder when you get involved with family and people you're personally involved with. So it's good to start practicing with other people and don't start with the hardest ones. If they're going through challenges, very hard, not to take them on. But with other people, it's easier, and you need to stay in your own lane. And also you need to, like the little rabbit Aurora in the book, you need to find peers who are sensitive to you and not just be around all of these other people who are macho and mock feelings. Now you want to be, you see, it's a new pioneering world, and you want to be a new kind of man, no matter how many people are not like that. I don't care about statistics or millions of people are acting a certain way. I don't believe it's the right path in terms of finding happiness and love and connection, if that's what you want. If you just want money and power, maybe go for it. It won't keep you warm at night when you're on your way out of here.
You're at once suggesting that empathy is something that is a goal we're striving for, and by the same token, if you're ultra empathic, as I may be, or you may be, or whomever may be, you have to be measured about your reactions and the way in which you interact with the world. That's kind of what I'm getting so far.
For certain people, I mean, it would be different with your wife, let's say, but you might want to keep a little distance from your wife too at times, so you can be more neutral with her. Because when we get triggered, it's harder to have that boundary up. And so, it's very, very important to be able to gauge the situation, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do if I took on your pain, everyone else's pain. There's pain and suffering everywhere, no matter how much somebody presents a front that, they don't have any. Everybody has it. So if you're an empath, I mean, I could go to the store here, and if I was open, I would pick up everyone's suffering, and it would be a miserable experience. And I don't want to do that. So I just stay very focused. I go to the oranges, I go to the apples, I pick out my veggies. I'm focused on food rather than people. And so I work with so many patients who don't do that. They say, oh, I picked up so much stuff coming from this person in the veggie section. I said, no, you're not supposed to be tuning into them. You have to say no. You just say, namaste, I respect you. go forth,
Sure. I'm getting that I might need some additional sessions with you, doctor, to really work through my problem. But let me turn to your book, The Highly Sensitive Rabbit, which is coming out. As I say, it follows your other books about empathy. But this is a book which is geared toward kids and rewarding sensitivity, rewarding an understanding, and sort of emphasizing and re-emphasizing how important that is in their relationships.
Yes, exactly. Well put. And it's about the journey of Aurora, who's highly sensitive and feeling like she doesn't belong anywhere and doesn't connect with the human race, and then goes on a journey when she loses her home to meet like-minded animals who are able to support her and give her the kind of understanding that she's been craving. And it's a beautiful book. It's gorgeously illustrated, and it has a very happy ending.
Oh, that's terrific. I love that. I can't take this new, I always like noir in film, but sometimes the noir can really be too noirish for me. So it's nice when somebody tells me, hey, you know what? At the end, everything works out. You just have to be there for the journey. The Highly Sensitive Rabbit, Dr. Judith Orloff, psychiatrist, trusted expert on thriving as an empath. I feel that we have many conversations ahead, Dr. Orloff. I want you to say it because it reminds me of my therapy. I'm afraid we're out of time for today. Will you say that for me? That's what my therapist used to say.
I'm afraid we're out of time for today.
Judith Orloff, you're awesome. I applaud you, and I appreciate you spending time with us. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All right. Judith Orloff, everybody. Hi, it's Mark, and I thought that was great. Hit the notification bell. You'll know whenever there's a new video being dropped, and please subscribe to our channel to help us save the universe.